Hi, I'm Shoddy. This is episode 7 of Krondor. Where did we leave off last time? Looks like we ran away from all the ghosts that were at this place. Is it Sethanon? Yeah, couldn't get there. Too many ghosts. I guess we have the steel that we found in the barn at Lighton. I guess we'll make our way to Romney. If you're watching the VOD, I appreciate any follows on YouTube or Twitch and any likes and subscribes. And if you want to see more episodes of Betrayal at Krondor or more of the games I play, you can check out the live tab on my YouTube. There's also some playlists over there. Oh, game slowed down for a second there. Already got that treasure. What else is there to talk about? Not much. Probably got that too. I don't know. I'm the guy with the crossbow. No, it didn't work. Isn't enough room. Got some plants started beside me. One of my neighbors is gonna dig a big garden for me with his tractor. Got a rototiller on it. So I started like some things that the lady on YouTube suggested and some other stuff. I think I can go around these guys. They want my 25 gold sovereigns. Let's try to go around them. I guess I could have read that part because I didn't read that part yet. Oh, more bad guys. Goodness, are they back? Why are they back? I started some other plants that I'm going to keep indoors maybe as well. Or just harvest through the spring. Lettuce in a big pot. One single seed right in the middle. We'll see if it grows into a big lettuce plant or romaine lettuce. Started some onions. See if they sprout, and then I can maybe harvest them before they're fully grown. I don't think the big giant onions will fit in the pot. I want to buy some organic lemons and seed the seeds from the lemons into pots and see if I can get some lemon trees. They'll grow indoors. It might take a bunch of years to actually get them, but it'll be fun. What else? I think I started celery and asparagus, and that's going to be like 10 weeks or something of them started. Before they finally make it out to the garden, so hopefully I didn't screw up too badly with those. I think I'm going to try to grow some radishes indoors. And Started with like one of each herb that I have of seeds. Sure, there's something else, but I just can't think of what it is. I probably should have marked the pots a bit better. I have to remember to use the whetstone and the armorer's hammer after this one. Hooray. Are those the tax collectors? Whoops. Didn't leave behind any bodies. East. I think. Good or purpose going here again? Alright. Go around the mountain to try to avoid the tax collectors. Opposite. May have wandered into a trap. Oh, I didn't see that. Probably reload. I couldn't see that thing in front of Gorth. Right place. Did I load the wrong game? Pretty sure I did these. Maybe not. An untiring servant it is, carrying loads across muddy earth, but one thing that it cannot be forced is to return to the place of its birth. Hello, Cyrus. Like river? I need any lockpicks. With sharp-edged wit and pointed poise, it can settle disputes without a noise. Sword? Oops. I can't carry the magical armor anyways. Plus 10%. Power enough to smash ships and crush through roofs, yet still must fear the sun. Power enough to smash ships and crush roofs, must fear the sun. Wind and rain and stuff doesn't fit there. E-S-I-W. Ice? Right. Sure, there's no more chests right beside the other chests that are right off the road. No one's lived here in some time. Where are we? North of Sylvan. This is abandoned. Food and lodging. I've talked to this guy. He wants to sell me shovels or torches. You don't know what you're missing. Maybe I do want some food. Oh, where did you come from? Find me. Move forward silently. Drawing closer, James realized that the figure before him was unmistakably feminine, alluring in a way that he found slightly disturbing. You startled me, she called, her full lips quirking into a smile. Perhaps if I don't kill you, Ruthia will amuse herself with you. James suddenly realized they faced a cultist of Ruthia, a goddess who could sometimes be kind but was often capriciously cruel. Gonna stand all the way back there, are you? Double. Search the body for supplies. want some food. You want some torches? Good enough. Not trapped. Gilder's passkey. Well, how about the lockpick? Really up. Plus 5% skill on enchantment. Crawler, the seals are perfect. Okay, I already read these. Find that chest behind me? That seems funny. I guess or I figured that one out, whatever it was, I can't remember. There's 4 chests. That one was holes. One is trapped. Eyes of Bishop. Back. Oops. You do not. Not very useful for him. Horn away. How did I miss that last time? Need rest. Sure, I made it here last time. All these jewels. Well, I'll sell you all my stuff. I think you end up wanting to keep a ruby or something, but I can't really remember. Maybe it's an emerald. I'd like to buy one of these. They were greeted warmly after a friendly chat and a swig of ale. They refused any further hospitality from their host. You've been more than generous, James said, grabbing his pack. I think it's time we made for the road again. Hoping that was an inn, but it's not. An inn? Place is abandoned. This one's got to be the inn. Not open until noon, so we don't really need it. That was just a tavern you couldn't rest at anyways. Place is abandoned. Butcher's off the road. Ew. Where's this go? House. James pushed the door open. As he passed through, he noted the lack of a door latch. The sign, the inn was likely chartered by the local lord to ensure the safety of travelers. Hopefully, it would also mean the inn's furnishings would be suitable. At 21, playing the Kingdom Mine. 3 sovereigns tonight. Sure. I guess I didn't read the description of the inn. Except for a thin strip of floor that led between the door, the counter, and the stairs, a gray cloud of dust coated the inn's fixtures. The patrons of the inn seemed similarly stagnant as they glazed up lazily from their mugs of ale and brandy. The innkeeper said something different too. When I rested, I didn't notice until I clicked through it. It says something about Delicon. Oopsies. This is where we're supposed to go, Romney. Oh, and we've got the Blazer's seal that should allow us something. Hopefully we don't need one for each party member. Teams charged forward. Caught off guard, their opponents scrambled around helplessly before finally squaring off in a defensive position. Exploiting their momentary advantage, James barked several quick commands and prepared to join the battle. No, you don't. Elven arrows, I think this guy's got them. Another whetstone. We'll grab that elven armor. Sell it because I'm right in town here. South Road. One was whistling. Suddenly aware his traveling companion had grown impressively cheerful over the last few miles, Gorth turned and favored the squire with an inquisitive stare. Why the sudden lift in your spirits? Unless I'm mistaken, we're heading towards my uncle Corval's Corvallis Estates and Caval Keep. When we keep heading this way and we're going that direction, aren't we? No. Going to Romney. The way ahead was blocked. From among the men who were guarding the bridge, a man stepped forward to confront them. Mitchell Waylander. The city of Romney is sealed at the moment. All but the citizens and those who are members of the Glazers Guild. Do you have one of our seals? Yes. Why is the guild in charge of the city? The constabulary, were all killed in the uprising by the River Pullers Guild, and no one else in any authority was left alive to administrate. When I was approached to take command, I decided I would use my men in the guild to help maintain order until such a time the Duke was able to arrive from his estates. Makes some sort of sense. Where can we find the king's men from Bast Tyra? They'll be holding up in the Black Sheep Tavern for a celebration of some kind. I believe I heard one of them say they found something they were looking for. I'm not sure what it's all about. I think that may mean good news for us as well. Good night, Reeve. We're on into Romney. Path turned, following the river-like course of the small dusty road. James saw that it flowed around several small hills, eventually descending towards a large town. Romney, he said. You think we should go in for supplies? Yes. Known as the City of Guilds, Romney's cobblestone streets were knotted, a labyrinth of closes and wines. Those words don't make sense to me. Often leading nowhere or into blind alleys populated by disreputable-looking drinking establishments. Only the dark main street, called the Murky Mile, seemed at all inviting to visitors to this strange town. You can look in the well. This tavern. Stop. Whatever this is. Looks like there's two songs playing. Do repairs here. Oh, what is the name of the store? The lay of the goods store was comfortably familiar, arranged in such a common sense fashion that it took only a few moments for James to locate the items of interest in him. Port exchange. $7 for that. I say this. Door. With this. Ulikio armor. Commissioned by Earl Kasumi. I think I read this one. For his Lemurian soldiers, the design was a Serrani improvement over Kingdom armor. Where rigid steel plates had been traditionally riveted, the armor crafter Uliliko had instead fixed flexible length of horn, which would allow the armor to fold without being punctured. There. The water was fresh. Slipping down several handfuls drawn from the well, James splashed his face and arms as well for good measure. When at last he felt fully refreshed, he moved away from the bucket so Owen could do the same. Tavern? Even as they threw the door open, James bit back the impulse to vomit. Kingdom soldiers lay scattered about the room, each lying in his own coagulating pool of blood. Nowhere did there appear to be anyone untouched by murderous hands. Chapter 3, The Spyglass and the Spider. The coppery smell of burning flesh filled the air. Embers leapt from the funeral pyre into the growing dusk, joined the winking points of light that would later become a blaze of crystalline stars. Around the flames, villagers gathered in dark clots, their faces overwritten with blank, unreadable expressions like moths to a candle. They drifted near and mourned and thought and sniffed. They had come to watch the flames feed. Gorth's fathomless green eyes... I think that word is nictated, but there's an extra I in there. Nictated. In the firelight, as he turned and gazed at Owen, who flinched uncomfortably at his side. There can be no uneasier sleep than a warrior murdered in his cups, Gorth said, his voice only slightly louder than the spitting hiss of scorched bone. They nipped at the heels of the Nighthawks, be certain of that. Do you think we're getting close? Owen asked. Gorth began to speak, but his words congealed on his lips as his eyes locked with the burning gaze of Senor James. I've had it with your mysterious half-answers, Mordell. Now, for the sake of your continued good health, I want to hear some explanations fast as why you were here in Romney a 6 month before you made your appearance at the Incundel Pass. The only explanation, Senor, is that you are mistaken. I have never been south of the Incundel. When we carried the dead from the Black Sheep Tavern, a tavern boy informed me that a man answering to your description called on the three unwholesomes dressed in black, all of whom wore the trademark silver rings of the Nighthawks. You heard them refer to the Mordell as Gorth. Seems that these Mordell paid a sizable sum of money to those Nighthawks before departing. Enough perhaps to arrange the death of a company of the king's soldiers? He may well have paid a king's death, but I know nothing of it. I realize it may impress little upon you, but Gorth is a passing common name in the Northlands, and oft as not, your kingdom fellow folk have mistaken me for an elf. The barkeeper was likely deceived by enemies of mine. If I had cause to mislead you or your prince, I would have found a far less convoluted means of confusing the royal sanity. Look elsewhere for your enemies, James. While we may not be friends, I mean you no harm. I shall look where I wish until you are no longer my responsibility. We may not be able to strike at the Nighthawk stronghold, but if we can locate it, we may still be able to get inside and find the information Prince Arutha needs. The Nighthawks will shun Romney for a time, however bold they may be in their murderous nights. They flee when daylight breaks. No one walks without leaving footprints, and these men are no different. However skilled they may be at assassination, they have never been any good at covering their tracks. Let me see those things you found in the tavern. They are here. Good, those are our footprints. Of all the items we found on the dead company, both those items seemed conspicuously out of place and may be related in some way to our elusive murderers. We begin our hunt for the Nighthawks with a spider and a spyglass. Go to the tavern. This lady talks. Barmaid talk. No sleeping though. Within, the accommodations were humble. Several splintering tables had been jammed into the common room and arranged to accommodate perhaps 25 men, 30 if hunger pressed them. Greasy stains covered benches and walls, evidence of wild days past. Right at Bard. Nope. Not good at Barding. Barmaid? Those are some expensive rations. James motioned to the figure across the room. The boy walked over to join them. He stood before them, his eyes downcast. Are you going to take me away? Why should we want to do that? Because when I broke things, Master always told me that someone would come and take me away, someplace bad and someplace dark, where they would never feed me and I'd never see the light of day. I knew when all those people got killed in here that someone would come for me and take me to the bad place. You don't have anything to be afraid of, Jason. You didn't kill those men. It's not your fault. Master says that anybody who stays on your roof is our responsibility. Responsibility. I was here when they were killed. That means it was my fault. Then you saw the murders? No, but they come in and told me to leave or they'd hurt me real bad. They didn't tell me what they were going to do. What did the men who told you to leave look like? They were big and they had birds on their chests like eagles and they smelled funny. Sometimes the sailors from Kef smell like flowers. Hawks on their chests. That at least confirms the Nighthawks' involvement. Do you know anything about a spider made of silver or a brass spyglass that one of the men that killed might have carried? Very important. Think hard. I don't know anything about the spider, but I remember that one of the king's men had a brass tube with little pieces of glass in the ends of it, and I could see things that were far away. He said he and one of the other men had brought it back from Silden. You see where in Silden he got it? No, just in Silden. Can you think of anything else? Did anyone else come into the Black Sheep before the murders? A carrying man brought in some wine from the upside-down keg for the soldiers, told me it was sent special, but besides that, I can't think of anything. Thanks, Jason. We may be back later to ask more questions, so don't go anywhere. Gambler. I guess it's the same thing other people say. We didn't go in here. They were shown into a room, seated cross-legged in a large wooden chair. Duke Romney was staring at a large lumpy form. Look at it going. Duke Romney was staring at a large lumpy form which was heaped on top of the meeting table, his youngish features obviously clouded by some issue of great concern. "What's under the sheet?" James asked. "Otho Chandler," the Duke grimly replied. "They found him in an alleyway. I've dropped him off here until the undertakers can come for him. Murdered?" The Duke sighed. "Fortunately, it's no great mystery. He was fighting with the leader of the Millers Guild and got cornered by 3 mercenaries. We have them all in custody. Things have gotten so bad here that we're regularly building a bonfire to burn the bodies from this idiot private war between the guilds." "Any way we can be of assistance?" James asked, taking a glance beneath the sheet at the obese corpse. "We may be in the area for some while." Drumming his fingers on the table, the Duke stared intently at them. "Actually, you may be of service to me," he said after a thoughtful moment. "If I can convince Arlie Steelsoul to come into negotiations with the rest of the guilds, it's possible I can break this deadlock between them. My father always said that the guilds will follow Mitchell Waylander and Arlie Steelsoul, whichever way they go. But unfortunately, Mitchell is too intertwined in the origins of this problem for me to use him effectively." "Where do we fit into this?" James asked. "You're neutral," he replied, gaining his feet. "You were born outside of Romney, and you have no connections to the guilds. I'm right about that, aren't I?" Quickly, an anxious look flickered in his eyes, but quickly vanished as he noticed that James was shaking his head. "Excellent. My point being, as the Duke, the guilds might view a private meeting between myself and Arlie as unfair negotiation. They have to believe that he is coming to the negotiation table of his own free will, and believe me, they will be watching my movements for a while. He wants to find this Arlie Steelsoul fellow and convince him to come and negotiate with the rest of the guilds. Is that it?" James asked. "Just so. You'll find that he has a small house to the west and south of here. I would advise you, though. He's a paranoid man, keeps himself well guarded, and there may be some danger involved. I'll reward you for your efforts, of course." "That's all right," James said with a smile, heading towards the door. "We're used to danger." West and south. Now I've got a spyglass and a spider. Silver spider. With the exception of its carnelian hinged fangs, the miniature spider glinted a deadly silver hue. On its underbelly, a long, shallow groove bisected its length and passed between its fangs, a groove through which a sword point or an arrow could easily be passed. I think you can. That doesn't. But I think I can poison my sword with it. Flipping the ornate miniature over, Gore slid his sword blade through the groove that had been incised into the spider's belly. There was no fluid visible in the small channel. The blade now. While there was no fluid visible in the small channel, his blade now dripped a green venom. Can't carry it. Brass spyglass. A relatively simple device, the spyglass was a cylinder of brass fitted with a large glass lens on one end and another smaller lens on the opposite end. While spyglasses were used to spot distant objects, James suspected this one had been rendered useless by the cracks in the large lens. We can use it. Undaunted by the spyglass's cracked lens, James raised the nautical tool to his eye and looked through it. While visually he could see nothing, it was almost as if he saw something beyond the world before him. By some facility, he was able to see objects that were hidden from view. So there's a treasure over there. Well, let's go south and west. Daytime. Uh-oh. He swallowed hard. With his heart pounding in his chest, he watched the enemy creep closer. Fighting the urge to turn around and run like hell, he forced himself to remain calm, forced himself to show no fear, despite the feelings of near panic that threatened to overwhelm him. 34 damage with that one hit. No, blind didn't work. One treasure there and 2 treasures over there. This is just highlighting the house. I think so. It's on the other side of the house. Right? No, it's the house. Well, this was the inn. Maybe this is where that Steel Soul guy is. Something very strange about the house. James couldn't put his finger on it, but the house had a dreamlike feel, or was it a nightmare? He barely remembered knocking on the door, but he was sure no one had answered. They go up white, but come down yellow and white. Can't even guess. ETRS. Stare at that for a bit. Maybe we can figure it out. I mean, I want to say roll, because, like, you cook it, and it kind of turns... No, that's not good. Or turns brown than yellow. Tile fits, but I don't know what that would mean. Probably not the right one. Hide. Doesn't fit. Tight. Eggs. Fetters of Rhyme. Rapier. Within the kingdom, the rapier was considered the weapon of experts and fools. Smaller bladed than classical broadswords, it demanded a great deal of skill and concentration to use, its primary strategy depending on its sharpened point rather than its hacking edge. So, does good thrust. It's good for elf. 25 plus 20. Now, is this thing 20 plus 10, 45 minus 5? Is this better for this? 25 plus 10, 45 minus 5. So, Skinner is better than Hessian Tapier. Cool. keep using the spyglass. Wish there was like a hotkey for that, or put it on the bar. Did the guy say west and south, or south and west? Place is abandoned. Is that there the whole time? Well, it didn't say he lived in Sloop. I think it would have said that. Bad guys. Opponents are caught off guard. One tap. My guys are starting to kick some butt. Letters of rhyme. I don't know what that does. Let's learn it. We've already read this. How many bodies did I search already? Need rest. We're gonna go back north. Second. I mean, this goes a little bit west. But we're not going there though. Alright, I guess we'll search every house on Sloop for that Steel Soul guy. James could smell alcohol. Pushing the door of the shop open, he was met by a sharp-faced fellow who was carrying a wooden keg, quickly dumping it with a pile of other... I think I already read this guy. Best brewery. Yeah. Oh, but it's different now. He wiped his hands off on a towel, then extended his hand. Welcome to the Upturned Keg, best brewery on this side of Romney. Would you care to sample some of our stock? We made a dandy apple wine. I'm sure you do, but no thank you. We have other business with you. Have you recently sent a special delivery to the Black Sheep Tavern in Romney? Man nodded. Yes, a man here in town named Mitchell Waylander came in and made the purchase order himself, paid with rubies. Recognizing the name of the Glazers Guild of Romney, James arched an eyebrow. Was there anything unusual about the order? I'll say, the man replied, moving to a small bin. He pulled out a handful of substance that looked like tobacco, letting it sip between his fingers back into the bin. He asked that I add this to the kegs, called black tarweed. Poison? James asked. No, it's a cheat used by less scrupulous tavern keepers. Handful of this dissolved in your ale, and whoever drinks it will think they're dying of thirst. Gets worse the more you drink. Rough spot. It's often done in the north, he said. A man will drink until he is no longer capable, either for lack of gold or wit. An excellent way to make certain that someone is incapable of fighting you back, James said with disgust. The Nighthawks aren't what they used to be. Alarmed, the brewmaster seemed to pale. Nighthawks? What have they to do with this? Omitting most of the smaller details, James told what they had already learned of the murder. Horrified, the man shook his head. I assure you, this has never once happened in association with the keg. If you would like, I will get you something to drink. A guarantee has not been laced with black tarweed. No one answered. No one has lived here for some time. This, I think, was abandoned, too. Abandoned temple. Place is abandoned. Shop was closed. I'll have to come back tomorrow. They're sleeping. James never had a chance to knock. Without warning, a Nighthawk charged at them from the other side of the small house, prepared to kill or be killed. Look out! James screamed, readying himself for combat. Ambush! Oh no, Owen. I think I can blind these guys, but let's try again. Ow. Nope. Use the lightning spell just to make sure that he dies. That was 4. Was there another one? Maybe there's only 4 of them. James knocked cautiously on the door. A few tense moments later, the wood began to creak, and the door swung open. From the darkened room, a figure emerged, and James gripped his sword tighter, prepared for any eventuality. Though Mitchell Waylander wasn't one of his favorite people, he was a bit alive to see his familiar face, and Mitchell seemed a bit relieved to see them. I don't know who sent you, but I'm very thankful for your help. Let's just say that anyone on the business end of a Nighthawk sword is of interest to me these days. It's not like them to send multiple assassins unless the target is considered a danger to the guild. But I'm a merchant. I don't know anything about the Guild of Assassins. You wouldn't necessarily have to know anything about them. You might have witnessed something they preferred unseen. Perhaps they think you've wronged them in some way. Where were you the night the king's men from Bast Tyra regiment were assassinated? What? I hadn't heard. Gods. They were good men. If it hadn't been for them, we would never have broken the river puller siege at Romney. How did they die? Nighthawks set upon them in the Black Sheep Tavern, killed every last man. The only thing I found strange was the fact that there were few signs of resistance. I was told by the boy who tends the bar a few casks of Keshin ale were delivered the night before, but the Bast Tyra men are very disciplined men. Does it seem reasonable to you that a detachment of men trailing the Nighthawks would get drunk in the town where they suspect the Guild of Assassins have their headquarters? That sounded a bit odd. Sounded odd to me as well, so I decided the ale had been tainted in some way. I thought if I found the man who sent the ale, I might be on the trail of the Nighthawks. Then I visited the tavern here in town. I discovered something very disturbing. The arrangements for ale delivery were made here, and the keeper was instructed to add a significant amount of tarweed to the mixture. The mixture, while not poisonous, induces the drinker to become excessively thirsty, fearing that he will continue to drink until quite drunk. That was not the shocking information, you see. It seems the local chief reeve of a prestigious guild arranged for delivery of the ale, Mitchell Waylander. I never made that order. I would have been in Romney when the arrangement was made. I couldn't have made that order. I realize that as well. The Nighthawks have gone to extreme trouble to implicate you, and that tells me that they want revenge for something. The men that were sent here to kill you would have undoubtedly planned the final evidence on your corpse. So, what could you have done to them? Truly, I don't know. You know anything about a silver spider or a brass spyglass? A brass spyglass? Oh dear gods, but that man couldn't have been a Nighthawk. He was so regal looking. What did you do to this man? Is the spyglass involved? There is a place north of Romney known as Prankstone, where people approach it. They often discover that items on their person disappear. A business partner and I discovered where the disappeared items go to, and we sell the items we find. Anyway, one night I was drinking in the town of the same name, and I saw the man who had this very marvelous brass spyglass. My guild was having difficulties at the time, and I was low in cash, so I conspired to achieve the spyglass on my own. I had noticed the attention he was paying to a rather fetching barmaid, and I arranged that a note was sent to his table telling him to meet her near the Prankstone. The spyglass became ours. If the man you snatched the spyglass from learned what happened, I could see how he would want revenge. Where did you sell it? I don't sell the items. My partner does, and we split the profits. I don't know anything about him other than the fact that he is a native of Selden. We decided early on that we would share only our booty so that if one of us was caught, the other would be safe. And it seems we have business in Selden. Lay low. It may be the only thing that keeps you alive, Mitchell. The Nighthawks are not men that should be angered. Where's the Steel Soul guy? I don't think I have any jewels, do I? Well, maybe I have a shell, actually. No shell. I need this. It was nighttime when I came by, so. Tavern. Oh, there's 5 of them. Missed one of the bodies then. How did I get them arranged like that? There we go. That was probably the body. Key this. Looking for that Steel Soul guy. Bunch of stuff behind the mountain. Uh-oh. Ice ran the length of Owen's spine. Desperately, he tried to recall what little he knew of temple magic as the enemy advanced towards them. He regretted not having spent more time studying the texts of the Midkenian goddess of death, Limbs Kragma. Within seconds, they were ashen-faced creatures in their midst, studying them with eyes long devoid of life. What does this one do? Better to run. Freezes opponents. Heal fire. Causes blade to do extra fire damage. Into the dragon. I think spending extra health and stamina on it just makes the duration last longer. Missing. Creatures had vanished. Fearful the creatures might appear from behind, Gora spun, but found the menacing apparitions had indeed disappeared back to wherever they had come from. They're gone, he said, his voice still raw from exertion. Let's get moving again. A man appeared in the doorway, his raven hair dusted with gray and the lines around his eyes hard. He looked on them with gravity, and the weight of his stare deep and penetrating. This is the house of Madame Hafra. Future is speaking with the dead. Rumors. We will require payment of 50 gold. Do you wish a session with the Madame? No. Hopefully the ghost didn't come back. Sharpen the swords and stuff, probably. Everybody reads the book, they'll get better at defense. Oh. It was past the time, now it's dark. Oh yeah. You go around the mountain? On the road. Same mountain. It is not. We'll turn around. And I'm pretty sure we got all these treasures. Okay. Keep out. A man shouted to them. Have you bought the Chief Reeves dinner? He asked, evidently viewing their arrival as part of a regular schedule. When James wasn't quick to respond, the man seemed to get a bit irritated. Are you or aren't you the delivery man from the goods store? Yes, James quickly lied, seeing it as an obvious way to get past the guard. We'll go on in and deliver his dinner to him. The man frowned. Obviously didn't explain to you the way the things work here. No one comes past Podrich, he said, thumping his chest. You go over next to the field, put the goods in the box, then you go about your way. Now, do you or don't you have this food? No. Playing the role of stupid delivery boy, James scratched his head. We thought we had it Had to come and find out what he wanted first. Come back later. Put a singular ration in there. I could poison some rations. Jim's close the lid of the chest. So what do we do now? Fourth asks. Go to the tavern and wait. We may come back tomorrow with any luck. Arlie will be willing to see us. A little food will often get a man into a talkative mood. Let's see if the Chief Reeve is no exception. Is there a tavern? Next day now, I guess, maybe. We have his food. Maybe I'm supposed to meet him in the tavern or something dumb. Take the food out of the box. Did. I don't know. Do food. Come back tomorrow. Go to the tavern and wait. The tavern, he says. Like I'm supposed to know the one. Uh-oh. Freeze his opponents. Let's try it. 5 health down. There's 1. Nice. Third body. That's it. Round. Something by the field, something ahead of me. Ahead of me is a house. This guy sells stuff. Thing by the field. Nothing. One of these boxes I couldn't figure out. Yeah, this one. Claws like a cat. Crooked as a snake's hiss. Patch together your guesses. You won't guess this. I got the other one. Alright, spend the night in the tavern. Oh, this guy's talking about the Wazalki or whatever, I think. 72 sovereigns. Okay, let's do it. Go back. That didn't work. I overpaid to stay in the inn. Give them the spoiled rations next time. Just the thing with the spoiled rations. Bunch of stuff behind the mountain. Guess I've been here before. 'Cause well, maybe it's a quest item. Yeah, I'll keep it. There was another chest I couldn't figure out. This one was Thorn. This one was Delicon. This one was alcohol. Got all these. What has claws like a cat and is crooked as a snake? Try the lock. He moved closer to examine the brass-plated lock. A group of sailors wandering by made him wary. No sense risking a night in lockup over this. Let's leave. 3 people to talk to. This guy hates me because I come in plagued. As keeper of the tavern, I imagine you get quite a bit of traffic through here. Lots of people wanting to buy or sell items that were, shall we say, indiscriminately acquired. Who would I speak to if my interest lay in that direction? Any that walks the streets, Sildon is not known for its reputable patronage, and as you've no doubt seen, why would this interest you? You need to find out about the possible purchase of 2 very special items that might have been picked up here in Sildon. I'm looking for whoever might have sold them. If an item is sold in Sildon, then I'm the only man that you should speak to. Any other transactions are done the Sildon way. Very well. Goftas? I need to find out what you may know about either a brass spyglass or a silver spider. I'd be willing to pay in gold. You will pay most undoubtedly for that information, but I am not interested in your kingdom coins. If it were gold, I could come up with some I want myself. No, what I require is the assistance of a thief. Why do you think I would be able to? Why do you think I would be of any help? I live in a city of thieves. I have spent my life knowing how to sense them, and I know most assuredly that you have a thieve's instinct. This is the bargain. I will tell you about the silver spiders that I sell on occasion. You will find a bag of powder that was stolen by the crawler. Most likely been taken to the house near here. The house is locked, and I suspect the pouch will be hidden away in a chest or cabinet or such. Any thief could do that for you. Why would we be especially qualified for this? Because all thieves in this place, they are all the hands and eyes of the crawler. To be working for me, that would be death for them. Why? What is it that is in this powder bag? I've made my offer, the information for the pouch. Do we have a deal? Yes. My bump of trouble is telling me that I shouldn't be agreeing to this, but you have a deal, Yoftas. I'll get your pouch. A straight exchange, the information for the item. Consider it a deal then. I'll wait for you here in the Anchorhead until you return with the item. We'll be back. Do not leave this place. Need some food. Boiled raw. No. Gorth watched the docks. Behind him, James stood with his ear pressed against the door of the house, listening for the stirring of the crawler or his men. He heard only the thumping of his own heart. The door was locked, and as he reached inside his back to search for his keys or picklocks, he saw a very small, very straight crack in the trim beside the door. Smiling at the old mocker's trick, he pressed his thumb down against the trim and pushed down. The wood slid away, revealing a small brass key. Removing it from its hiding place, he jammed it into the brass lock, whispering his thanks to the old mocker who first taught him the trick. Within, the house was dim, but not so dark that James couldn't navigate by instinct alone. Creeping, he investigated the whole of the three-room house, noting anything that looked out of the ordinary. Near the fireplace, he discovered something that appeared to be a chest, but dismissed it as suspect, its location tagging it as a trap for less clever thieves. On the far wall, he eyed a row of 5 colorfully lacquered pots, each spilling over with a tangle of violet-colored tondel horns. Many times in Krondor, he had heard the Princess Anita lamenting over the fact that flowers were nearly impossible to grow in the salty soil of the coastal regions and required nearly constant sunlight. Located as they were at the rear of the house, however, they would undoubtedly receive very little light at all. Smiling, he upturned each of the pots until at last he discovered the hidden powder bag and made a mental note to thank the princess for her relentless efforts to civilize him. Clutching his find triumphantly, he hurried outside to rejoin his very nervous-looking traveling companions. Jimmy the Hand was still alive and well. Motioned the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyes arched inquisitively. So the Honorable Seigneur from Krondor returns. Have you brought along the pouch I asked you for? Yes. Seems that today Baneth has smiled on both of us. I have what you want, and apparently know what I need to know. And you apparently know what I need to know. Pouch in exchange for the story. That was the deal. I want to hear a story about a silver spider. Yes. Baneth has gifted you most certainly. I wouldn't have thought anyone wily enough to defeat the crawler, but if the happy prankster has given you the knack, then I'll happily help you as best I can. Now, the silver spider is a rare item, so I remember where I get one, and I am most assuredly pleased when I can turn a profit from one. They are heartily sought here in the kingdom. It's been several months since I last sold one. Can you describe the last man who bought one? Oh, I can describe him. Stooped back, crass, hard-bearing fellow. He was wearing a black cloak and a bird. An eagle was blazed across his chest. A hawk? You mean a golden hawk? I've lived the greater part of my days here in Sildon. It might have been a hawk, or it could have been a gull. All I know is that I lost a great deal that day between he and the trader named Abuk, who brought in some sailor's trinkets he appropriated from the prankstone. I met Abuk somewhere, but I can't remember where. Maybe? As for the man with the bird on his chest, the last I heard of him, he was asking to purchase a ticket on a ship called Mocker's Folly, bound for Krondor. A Nighthawk bound for Krondor. Where can I find the ship captain? Krondor, I suspect, though I don't see why that would be important to you. I will decide what is important or unimportant. Now, what about the brass spyglass? Would you know anything about that? As I told you before, sailors' trinkets are common here in Sildon. If it's a special glass you covet, I would urge you to seek out the trader Abuk. I could hope only to make 5, perhaps 10 gold sovereigns for such an animal, so I decided they were not really worth my time bothering with them. You might find that bothering with silver spiders has cost you more than I imagined. Yoftas. If I find that any of the prince's family have died of poisoning when I return there, you'll have a great deal more to worry about than turning a profit. What's to stay at the inn? 6 sovereigns. Alrighty. I just thought, claws like a cat, crooked as a snake's hiss. Is it like a crowbar? Crowbar has claws. Hammer didn't fit. I can't remember how many words it was. Did I go down there already? I think I did. But let's check behind that rock. Uh, so I'm supposed to go back to Krondor now. I kind of want to figure out this Arlie guy. I'll find the house that sells me the fish rations. There's a buck. Master of Locks at your service. How may I be of assistance? It appears that you are master of more than locks. What do you know of the Prankstone north of Romney? Tongue wags loose in Sildon. I see my enterprises may be silenced. I'm interested only in the brass spyglass that you sold to Yaftas in Sildon. Tell me about it, and I will choose to forget about any other thefts you may have participated in. How did you come by it? A year and 20 ago, I bought a box in Sildon from a trader. He told me that it would bring me great fortune, but I wished only for a strong chest to hold my things, and I told him that he would be a fool to sell such a box. We haggled, and at last I purchased it for 10 sovereigns, a price that the seller seemed positively glad to receive. I too was pleased with the exchange, but I began to wonder at the nature of what I had purchased. The chest was possessed of a Junlo. Junlo, what does that mean? It was a box of trickery, of magic. Objects would appear in the box, things that I had not placed it there. Then one day I met a man from Romney who told me the true nature of my chest. When things were lost in a certain place, they came to my box, and we could sell those items. We decided, of course, that we would never tell each other more about ourselves, so our business would be safe should one of us fall into harm. And you two would split the profits of whatever appeared in the box. I take it that the brass spyglass was one of the items he arranged for you to find. It was one of many things. The day you got the spyglass, did anything else appear in your box? A few items. I keep the things whose value I do not know, so few items which arrived with the spyglass are still there as well. I remember there was a note whose contents I do not remember. Where was this box? Is it close by? It lies behind a mountain with 2 other boxes near Sildon. Is locked with a special lock. You have to spell out Thorn so that may be opened. If you do not understand of what I speak, you shall when you find the box. Thorn, I remember your kindness. Thank you. I open the same box again. Or that's the note I already have. Given to Sonatus of Cabal Keep, the quantity of 500 rubies and 200 gold sovereigns, totaling value not in excess of 20,000 and 200 sovereigns. The guy from Cabal Keep's the bad guy. I'll leave the tax collectors. Going the wrong way. I want to find the guy that sells the food. No, we're not going into Selden. Here? It is. Me, your trout, sir. Alright, this guy. Here, have 14 food. Go to the tavern and wait. We come back tomorrow. With any luck. Is there any, like, I could poison the food or give him spoiled food? Like, am I going to meet him outside because he's got the runs, or did I poison him? It's the right way. Buy more food again. This is the next day. Got the food. And it's just the same thing that happens. One food. Food already gone? Yes. Well. Guess we could go to Caval Keep, because now we know something to do with that note. I don't know. Nice. He already has that. going their own way. Let's go to Cavalkeep. One talked as they traveled, pointing out familiar geographical features. He related a good deal of history about the region's history. As they attempted to ford a small river, soon they found themselves back upon a major road. Bad guys. Caught the opponents off guard. You always hit them when they're frozen? Wait, I'm not supposed to swing with Gorth because it does less damage than this thrust. I don't need this poison anymore because I have the fighter. And use is better than anything I got. There was trouble ahead. Unable to pinpoint the source of his anxiety immediately, James motioned for a halt. Be wary, he may have wandered into a trap. Cancel that. Forward then. Oh, can't cast invitation on. I think this helps me pushing it forward. Pushing it right doesn't help me either, I don't think. I just have to eat a fireball. That thing kills it, right? It dies. I'll eat the fireball. Gotta push it in the way of the fireball, but then I have to go around on the left anyways. It's middle of the night now, darn. I don't know if there's supposed to be a way through those traps without getting hit. Probably. I don't know what it is, though. Maybe an armor spell, but I don't know if you're supposed to do that. More bad guys. I can click on them, but nothing pops up. Huh? Just blocking my way. Is that a bug? Around. Load the game. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to get around those guys. But I can go around them. The slab made Owen uncomfortable. As he stepped closer, he stepped closer to the strange rock to examine it more closely. This is a very unusual stone. It seems to be emitting a very strange energy. But I can't make out its nature. Should we touch it? No. No, I don't profess to have your magical insights, but I still have a bad feeling about this place. We should leave while we're still able to. That'll be the prank stone that would steal my items and put them in that box. James sniffed. Rubbing his irritated nose, he struggled against the urge to sneeze, but the smoky interior of the shop made it hard to maintain his demeanor. More annoying, the smoke obscured his view of the vials and jars which crammed the store shelves, most of which appeared to contain herbs or incense. Do I have anything I want to sell? One of these dumb rings. Much stuff. No one's lived here in some time. Used to be an inn of some kind. It's been a long time ago. Worth was about to knock on the door when he heard the shrill voice of a woman calling for help. No one can help you now, ha 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 ha, boomed a raucous male voice. The goddess of death will... Before another word could be uttered, Gorth took several steps back and charged the door, hitting it with his shoulder. The door gave away with a splintering crack. The force of the impact caused him to lose his balance, but he quickly regained it. Drawing his sword, as he quickly surveyed the room, he found himself eye to eye with a half-dressed man wearing a wig. There was no one else in the room. What did you do with her? Gorth demanded. The man sputtered a reply, still trying to catch his breath. Who? What? Who? I did what with... Whom? The woman. We heard a woman yelling for help. What did you do with her? Gorth repeated, more with bewilderment than anger this time. I haven't done anything with anyone. I'm an actor. I was just preparing for a play. I'll perform tonight at the Flying Sow. Gorth swallowed hard. A play? He asked weakly. I thought, sorry about the door. I'll give you 25 sovereigns or whatever we have left. That should cover it. The man was still shaking his head when they left. We try this one. Used to be an inn. A balding man with an intense gaze answered James' knock. Are you looking to stay in Prankstone for a while, he wondered? I have a house for you, only 30 sovereigns a month. Sorry, we're just passing through. What can you tell us of the people who live in your houses? James asked. We got a guy who claims to be an actor living in one, and my other place is about to become unoccupied. That no good dragon lover has cheated me out of my money for the last time. Good day. The subject obviously angered him, because he put an end to the conversation by slamming the door. My man answered the door. Come in, he said with a large grin. I have something to show you. Curious, James followed the man into the house. He led them to a table, which upon them there was a bulky object of some kind covered with a cloth. With a great flourish, the man pulled away the cloth, revealing a strange metal machine with a funnel at the top and a wooden crank on one side. What is it? Asked Gorth. It's a gem converter. Currently, it will only convert rubies into emeralds, but I'm working on a formula to convert rubies into diamonds. You say. Perhaps you could help me test it. Would you like to give it a try? I don't. Man eyed them thoughtfully for a second, then said with a smile, no matter. If you change your mind, just come back and see me, and I'll give you another go. How's that sound? Well, really must be running off now. Ta-ta. We're in some time. I'll have to remember, this is Prank Stone. And if I get some rubies, I can turn them into emeralds. I think I checked all the houses. We need rest. We need treasures. There are. The language of men can be mastered, but what kingdom word is always pronounced wrong? Is it just wrong? Names give power, magic control, but what is broken by naming it? Silence, I think. These things. I have enough of these dumb dragon stones already. Oh, bad guys. Our attack was unexpected. Oh, that was a poison arrow. The guy turned green. Boom, one tap. I hope they don't hit my own guy. Can miss frozen people. Green potion. Potio noxum. The fluid within the flask was a clotted mass. Tinged a phlegmy color that looked neither healthy nor appealing. And if the scent of the cork was anything similar to the actual aroma of the concoction within, he had no desire to open the bottle. Yet if he were attacked, it might be useful to distract an otherwise troublesome opponent. And oneself during combat. 8 uses of a whetstone. Oh, there goes that hammer. The 2 chests I already got? Yeah, I think so. We dig all the graves? Marty Hippler, beloved by all. Just a body. Kyle Bruning, always our loving son. Just a body. Jason Virtue, he sung off key. Lincoln Albavant, he lies here too. Smoke seeped from the earth. Backing away from the defiled grave, Owen watched in horror as the gas began to whirl into a sparking maelstrom. No. Where do we leave off? This one? We got turned all the way around, did we? Cal Bruning we got. Marty Hippler we got. That was the one. Ghost. Just nobody. Got that one. Sure, Perlon, she loved to dance. Just a body. Leighton Dink, no longer can hate his name. Just a body. Jenny Gray, oh, to feel her sweet kiss. Body. Corey Perlance lost his life fighting a fire. Really can't fit all this junk. Nat Delars, may the god of the death be gentle. Just a body. Damon Bowsmith, he didn't want to go. Oh no. You know what? Just gang up on him. Just a body. That should be all of them. Use the guitar and it'll be gone. Don't have room. Is the right direction? Yes. Go to Caval Keep. Put the lucky spyglass, and there's something over by that mountain. It's trapped. Trap was deactivated. Right. Now I found a ruby that I can probably turn in, or an emerald I can, something like that. Ruby I can turn into an emerald? I think that's how it goes. One treasure off the road there. For a house. Oh no! They were stopped by 2 men. You will go no further, one of the men commanded. Before any shall enter the temple of Baneth, they must strip off all medals. James scowled. Under whose authority do you make these demands? We are representatives of Prince Arutha, and order you to let us pass. The men seemed a bit taken aback by this news, but as they departed, they continued to speak of their levy. Metal is base and offensive to our god. He who enters this temple with metal on his person shall be struck dead. From the other side of the temple, almost out of earshot, James heard, by the will of Baneth. Now we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hour was sounded. Clapping his hands over his ears, James looked resentfully up at the brass bells as they passed underneath them, mourning the fact that he hadn't a bit of beeswax blocked out the clanging noise. If the priest leading them took any notice, he made no sign. The lector of the Temple of Baneth greeted them at the door of his study, a graying man with rounded features who patted each on the back as they passed inside the study. How may the servants of Baneth be of service? He asked. I'm not certain, James said, taking a seat by the window. We have a difficult journey ahead, and I was hoping that perhaps your god might have some insight into our predicament. The priest motioned for him to continue. Quickly, James related most of their tale, with Gorth breaking in occasionally to correct certain inaccuracies. When the tale was at last finished, the lector was squinting at them. I'm not sure how we could be of assistance to you, he said. It is not the place of the temple to give aid when it is the place of the temple to give aid when possible, but it seems as if many of the things you are having difficulty with you have brought on yourselves, or are matters that are beyond the reach of what I may do for you. I am sorry. Oh, okay. And low on food. Oh, bad guys again. Oh no, these bad guys. Hate these things. And what they are. One stumbled. As James shot a disapproving glance in his direction, the enemy assumed the defensive posture, ready to meet the foiled surprise attack. Try skinning the dragon. Can I cast one on myself? I can. Up with the eye pokes. Ow. Did you hit something? Stop it with the eye pokes. I won't like run away and then cast another spell. Oh my god, with the eye pokes. I'm not far enough. Nice. Hopefully they got some food for sale at Cabell Keep. Oh, treasure. James grunted. Despite his repeated efforts to pull the scarecrow out of the ground, it wouldn't budge. James noticed a circle of holes. It's a trap. One go diagonally. Yes. Hmm. Can't even carry it. One food left. What should we ditch? Oops. Well, I guess we're lighting up stuff. Which is worth more, I wonder. Over the ring. That is hard on the eyeballs. Off in the distance, a hiss whispered in James's ears. Do you think we should investigate further? Yes. Leading the way, Owen turned down the short path. His steps becoming more hurried as the faint hiss grew into a pounding torrent of sound. Last they found themselves standing before a sparkling waterfall. White lather churned from the waterfall's lip as a burst of sunlit spray crashed over natural stone tiers into a small pool of pine-smelling water. Broad-leafed and lush, dark ferns grew up the face of the arroyo like a living carpet. Everywhere there seemed to be life moving and crawling. James strolled in the trees, noting a suspiciously ordered pile of leaves. He suspected that someone may have hidden something underneath. Food? No. Bringing the golden way. Can affect player statistics. Rope and a ring. Already got in the rope. We're gonna have to get rid of something. Well. Ah. Will not fit. I don't really need these torches when I got all these dumb rings. Right. 56, 59, 69, 25, 9, 66, 16, 16, 43, 44. I think I'm gonna remember which one, if any of those is up. Assessment, maybe? Nope. I don't know. I have no idea. Might even be crossbow and he can't even use that. 27, 55, 43, 16, 16. Eh. We'll carry it around for the rest of the game, not knowing what it does. Perfect. Maybe I'll Google it off stream. That's the torches I dropped. I want to go get some food, and then I'll probably turn the stream off. food in the game. Single ration. Wish I could carry any of this stuff. There's a treasure off the road over there. Must get it. So many treasures. Hollow stump. The key. Brought to the table, cut and served, never eaten. It's just like knife or something? Nope. Widows and orphans, parents and kin. This is disturbed most by riots and war. Peace? Any of that. Okay. Brought to the table, cut and served, never eaten. It's not gonna be. What else is brought to the table? Cards. Yeah, okay, it's cards. Ooh, I do want that armor, though. And 5 uses. We just use up some of this junk. 4 uses. Oops. 2. Let's use this anyway. %shell. He's got 1 space, fine. What's in the barn? House is dark. I don't like the looks of this, Gore said, assessing the situation. My gut tells me that as soon as we knock on the door, someone or something is going to be all over us like stink on a troll. Where's abilities have increased? Seems I've had a chance to knock. Without warning, a Mordell warrior charged at them from the other side of the small house, prepared to kill or be killed. Look out, James! Screamed James, readying himself for combat. Ambush! Ooh. I don't think we really needed the, holy oil on our blades, but it helps. Chicken clucks greeted their entry. James pulled back to the door of the barn and took a look inside. It would appear normal, but it still bears investigation. Huh. Isn't enough room. With the gray. Only stacked to 12, is that? Okay. I'll drink up. Great food. Who's got the blue potions? And I guess I don't need this food poison anymore. Hopefully. I have 60 used tuning forks. Yeah. We have reason to believe that Goreth of the Ardanian will soon be in your region. Should you encounter him, attempt to take him alive. If you are overmatched, then slay him before he discovers our connections to the Nighthawks. We wish to have him breathing so that we may make a present of him to Delicon and the Six. Otherwise, you are to proceed in the usual fashion by retrieving the Knight's Piece from the well. It is crucial we have the information the Nighthawks have gathered on troop strengths of kingdom garrisons. Interesting. Two things behind the mountain to the northwest. Something caught James' eye. Bending down to get a close look, he saw it was a set of fresh footprints. Appeared to be leading to the east. Giving me treasures I can't carry. Houses. A heavy-set man answered James' knock. Greeting them warmly, he invited them into his house. After several minutes of conversation, he offered them some fresh water for their pouches, a kindness that was gladly accepted. They were preparing to leave when the man's tone turned serious. You gents be careful out there. I've been hearing some strange noises. Wouldn't be surprised if it was the spinners coming out of their hibernation. James looked a little puzzled. Spinners? Overground spiders. Count Corvallis sent some men to patrol the four veer gates to the west, hoping to get through the spiders before they had a chance to get entrenched in the area. But it'd be best to keep on the lookout. Doesn't seem anybody's about. Oh, more stuff to the west. Building northwest and then something southwest. Oh, rest. James knocked rapidly. A darkly tanned gentleman met them at the door, a slightly puzzled look on his face. News travels quickly here, he said, allowing them inside. I hadn't expected anyone to have heard about us just out here yet. Heard about what? James replied. Our herbs, a woman said, poking her head into the room. Count Corvallis said we could gather them out here because the soil around here is very rich. He decided it was for the best since what happened at the keep. No sense letting all this go to waste. Would you like to care to see some of our preparations? Sure. Excellent, you won't be disappointed by our fine selection. We grow our stock in a special garden, so you can be sure we have the finest quality herbs available. And around to this. We are stuck. Great West. Shovel. We have a shovel. Take theirs, though. I need a shovel to dig this up. No. Right, hopefully we can get the cavalry keep without too many more distractions. We must look through the telescope for the treasures. Oh, look, what's that? 5 things in the field over there. This didn't even show up. This is an inn. 33 sovereigns. The gambler shook his head. I'm afraid I've come to the end of my funds, he said. Perhaps when I've recouped my losses, we can play again. James nodded. I would like that very much. Good day to you. Barkeep. Food. We do need food. No use for such an item. There is an inn to stay at. 9 sovereigns per night. His fingers in our money pouches, Gorth growled, examining their finances. He stole a handful of gold and sovereigns. Nightmaster smiled nervously. You understand that nothing that the establishment can't be held responsible. I can sign up for another night. Are you interested? 29.43. Yeah, they took 20 instead of 9. Interesting. It did say something about a well and stuff. James peered into the blackness of the well. There's something shiny down there. It looks like something metal. His voice echoed against the stone sides of the well. Hand me a sword and some rope. Owen retrieved the objects as requested. Then he watched James carefully tie the rope to the end of the sword and lower it into the well. There were several metallic clanks and a few muttered curses, and James pulled the sword back. There, dangling from the handle, was a Mordell lamprey. We can't carry that. Five things. A bad guy? It is a bad guy. The enemy jumped back. Oh, leave Owen alone. If I use these items, do you think it'll skip my turn? get this guy's armor repaired. Probably another one, but... Two right here. One thing all the way to the east. Top. Jabba's fanciful trinkets. Moving casually through the magician's shop, Owen expressed an annoying grin as he glanced sidelong at Gorth. Since entering the Moradrel, seemed unnaturally fascinated by the array of scrolls, items which would be utterly useless to any save the trained magician. While the owner's fascination Bell was unscrupulous, it was clever. Wyvern's egg. If not for the regularity of its faceted surface, the Wyvern's egg could have passed as a peculiar geode, a quartzite anomaly created by the whims of nature. As James touched it, however, there could be no doubt that something lived within its fragile shell. Want the sword? No. Too much stuff. These rings? Hooray. Buy the rings. Probably wasn't worth keeping them that long. He doesn't have an armorer's hammer. Darn it. I'll give that to Gorth then. Right, we're running out of armorer's hammers too. Let's see. Dragon's Breath. Ocho's Haven. Flamecast. Gift of Sung. Skyfire. Scent of Sereg. Bane of Black Slayers. The Unseen. Eyes of Ishap. Nacra Cicatrix. Night Fingers. Fortunate Flux. Into the Dragon. Thoughts Like Clouds. Stardusk. Final Rest. I think I want that one. Invitation. The Fetters of Rhyme. No one needs it. This one. Final Rest. And you learned it. Okay. Now, where's those 5 things? Oh, stumps, I guess. Hollow stump. Oh, I hate these things. But bunch of money. Three things by the rope. Alright. Two things behind the mountain. To the High Priest of Kahuli, I request that Mavon Desandu Be driven mad for his attacks on my person and my family. So ends my petition. Count Jeffrey Corvallis. It goes past gates, but asks no one's leave. It runs clear around castles without taking a step. Is it moat? Like road? Stare at that for a minute. I can spell will, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. I can spell pale, I can spell pill. I'll be right back. Not path. Is it wall? It's probably wall. Alright, finally made it to town. Gavel Keep. I simply must see what... Uh-oh. Girl crossed the fields. Lacking the arrogant bearing of her father, she moved like a wisp of smoke, her tread so light it seemed she floated rather than walked through the rustling weeds. Fluttering to one side, she kissed him lightly on the cheek. Eugene Corvallis. Did I ever tell you that you show up at the strangest of times? It's nice to see you. What are you doing wandering around unescorted? Honestly, you astonish me. By your age, most girls have the common sense to realize there are dangerous types wandering around in the open. How's that for an introduction? You're only 4 years older than me. Owen and I don't see that my age has anything to do with it. I just like to come out here to think well, I have a problem that won't solve itself otherwise. It gives me a safe harbor away from father when he's on one of his raging fits. Is he on one at the moment? One of the worst I've ever seen. He's fired the entire kitchen staff, dismissed the guard, thrown out all 5 of my maids. He's been that way since about dinner time last evening. I tried to ask him what had him so upset, but he would only tell me that he received some very bad news from a messenger regarding a financial arrangement he had made. Any idea what the note said? Who knows? He's always about conspiracy this, conspiracy that. It's like he's always afraid someone's about to find out some dire secret about the family when there's nothing to hide. It's getting terribly repetitive, really. So you have this frightful look on your face as if there's something you're afraid to speak to me about. What is it? News. So when is the suitor going to snatch you up? Are there any that are even in good standing? There are 2, neither of whom my father likes. But then, he never likes anyone I do. One is Myron, my father's solicitor, who lives just outside of Gavel Keep with his daughter Amy. He does have a minor claim to nobility because his brother is an earl someplace. The father thinks his connections are too tenuous for us to consider. What about the second suitor? He's a businessman from Kenting Rush named Navon de Sandu. I like him, though he can be a bit intense at times. We like to talk, and he is always asking me some point about mythology or another. He doesn't mind a girl who reads. The murder. You'll forgive us if we look a little ragged, but we're trying to find out about a murder that took place down in Ramney. We've been searching for a little while. You think the murderer escaped his Gavel Keep? We're not sure. All we know is at the moment it may have something to do with a brass spyglass or a silver spider we found near the bodies. I don't suppose the spyglass had a star inscribed on it, did it? Can't recall why. Would that be important? For someone who's a part of the family, you certainly don't seem to know much about family lore. We used to have a spyglass that sat in a glass case in the entryway of the keep. There was a legend that if a person knew the right things to think, they could use the spyglass to spy on the minds of others. It was in the family for generations, but it disappeared about the time that Neville was killed in the wine cellar all those years ago. Father accused the workmen of having stolen it. And what things was the person to think to make the spyglass work? I don't know. Neville used to tease me and told me he knew what to think and that he could use it, but he never did. It was only a legend after all. Okay. It was nice talking to you again. We have to be on our way. Promise me you'll find someone to look after you soon. I would appreciate it, but if you stop fretting about... I would appreciate it if you stop fretting about me as if I were a child. I'll take the promise only so long as you make the same promise. Very well. You have my word as the son of the Count of Tyburn. Goodbye, Eugene. Just wanted to see this house. No one's lived here. And I'll have to run into the princess again. Nope. Weeds and scrub brush line the road. This road leads in the town of Gavel Keep, James said. Do you think we should go in and take a look around? I think I'll save that for next stream. We'll do all the reading and stuff then. So we'll save that. I'm gonna save it again over here. Nice. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing and hanging out. And we'll see you next time. Peace. Where's the camera? Peace. I love you. Check out my YouTube live tab for more, or the playlist over there. See you guys tomorrow for 2 more hours of Betrayal of Krondor. Ciao.